Good afternoon. Welcome to Rensselaer Polytechnic Institute Virtual Family Weekend presentation. My name is Jade Felder. I am Director of the Arts and Student Transitions. I am joined by my colleagues who are going to be introducing themselves to you as we get further into the presentation. We are really excited to just continue our annual traditions of Family Weekend. This is such an important time for our families to connect with the institution, connect with faculty, staff, get a really good glimpse of what's happening on campus inside the classrooms. And because we're virtual this year, I know that there are a lot of different programs planned for you all to still experience Rensselaer in the virtual capacity. So we wanted to continue honoring our the Arch at Rensselaer annual Family Weekend presentation. This is the presentation that we provide to the students in August during Arch Discovery Day. And so students receive a lot of action-packed information full of rigor that's going to help them get started with preparing for their Arch summer term and semester away. And so we really want to make sure that the parents are included, which is why we do this presentation. I often receive great questions via email from parents about how they can help their student prepare. So this presentation is going to be very, very important. We will make sure that we have this link available after the presentation. You can always visit it on the Arch website, and we are going to make sure that this link is distributed to you all again once we finish with the presentation. So I'm going to go ahead and get started and jump in. And with the Arch at Rensselaer, we want to walk you through what you're going to be viewing today. So we're going to do a quick briefing, and then we're going to do some financial planning and important dates. Then we're going to do some semester away planning, and then we're going to do some reminders of those requirements. So the first thing we want to start with is the Arch at Rensselaer and really what it is designed to do. It is composed of two requirements. So our students are required to complete an Arch summer term, which is a full-time equivalent course load on campus during the summer after their sophomore year, followed by a world away experience, which is what we're preparing our students to do, is be ready for the multifaceted challenges of the 21st century. And so what that looks like from the career perspective, from the research perspective, it really depends on what your student is studying at the time. But the Rensselaer requirement for all students is that they complete their Arch requirements so that they are better prepared for the 21st century demands. So when we think about Arch intentionality, our institute leaders really wanted to drill down to the main points of why the Arch is exceptional, why it is important, why it is cutting edge, and why it sets Rensselaer apart. And so the first thing is the acceleration of immersion between our academic and our professional worlds. These two things collide during the Arch designation year. So when students are in their Arch summer term, they are in their elevated courses beginning with their junior year. So they're actually starting their junior year courses prior to the actual fall or spring term of their junior year. So this accelerates them into the coursework. And then the other piece of acceleration into the professional worlds is, of course, the world away experience, which you're going to hear a little bit more about later. And so the second thing that's going to be pivotal, really, to a student who is preparing for their Arch is their academic advising from the first time they step foot on campus with us. So I know many of our Family Weekend families of our first year students are super excited to learn all of the different intricacies about their students' matriculation. So the academic advising piece starts in the freshman year, that first year on campus. And so students are paired with their academic advising hubs. But with those academic advising hubs, students are then able to facilitate relationships with their faculty advisor the more they become acquainted with their discipline and the higher they go once they become upperclassmen. So academic advising is extremely important. The next thing is our career counseling. Career counseling is an essential piece, just as the academic advising. And our Career Center has been equipped to support all of our students from the first year through the second, third, and fourth year into graduation. And so the Arch intentionality continues to reinforce this with our career counseling. And the last thing is our leadership development. And so this is the what I like to call the obligato on top. This is what students really need to immerse themselves in if they want to continue that edge and have that leg up when it comes to soft skills, when it comes to verbal skills, when it comes to networking with peers and networking with their superiors and learning to really go out into the job market and own it, or really going out into the research field and owning it. Leadership development skills can really help them understand who they are and really take the reins of their matriculation at our school. And so the third thing is the unique academic and co-curricular summer experience. The summer experience for the Arch is very unique in that we try to provide a lot of opportunity for students to immerse themselves in simulations of what they will experience. So we have academic field trips. We have a lot of cohort affinity activities. The faculty are very accessible during the summertime, but this is in addition to all of the regular sort of support and services that we have for the students in the fall and spring. The summer is a time where we really take advantage of the weather. We really take advantage of the surrounding Troy area. And we try to make sure that our students are not only experiencing a great summer semester in their academic courses, but also getting outside to really develop in a new way after the freshman and sophomore year. So once you get into that Arch summer term, it's time to start pivoting your thinking to external factors and how you can begin to leverage yourself as a student, basically trying to get into the job market after you graduate. So the summer experience is very, very unique. And then the next thing is the reclustering. So a lot of the programmatic endeavors at our institution are around reclustering. When you first enter, which all of you may know from your students being at Rensselaer, they are with their first year dean. And that first year dean then hands them off to an upper class dean, which takes their entire cohort through graduation. We also couple this with the residential experience, and students are cohort based within their residential experience. So the first years, the second years, and the Arch year, when the students are on campus with us, there is that cohort affinity. And so that reclustering during the Arch summer semester is a reintroduction to your now junior cohort members, but now we're starting to look at these students as potential colleagues and networking partners as opposed to just peers on campus. And so we have more focused and meaningful engagement with faculty. I think the biggest thing that we hear from students and really what the data has shown us as far as faculty interactions is that students really value the faculty interactions that they have with their faculty while they're in the summer term, because they're not really competing for the time, attention, office hours, et cetera, that they would necessarily be competing for in any other capacity. And so the next thing is the opportunity for students to engage in self-discovery, leading to increased intellectual agility, multicultural sophistication, and a global perspective. This is where our students are able to really define what they want their college career to look like. This allows them to engage in a lot of different student activities. The Arch is designed to allow students to be autonomous in this right. And so these are the ultimate outcomes that we want our students to experience when they are completing their Arch summer and their semester away experience. Oh, hold on. It looks like am I frozen? Can you guys hear me? Oh, okay, great. Okay, just want to make sure that you guys can hear me. Okay, so the next thing is the plan of study overview, the cohort breakdown. So we like to provide this to the parents because this is the visual. A lot of times it's very hard to visualize what that summer semester looks like in comparison to the fall and spring terms. And so we'll talk a little bit more about what that looks like financially, which everything is in the entire parameters of their entire 8 semesters to graduation. So first you see we have 4 years. A lot of the students are going to do this in 4 years. We have students who are in the architecture program, so they may do it in 5 years. We also have students who will go into the co-terminal program, and we also have students who will enter into the BS PhD program. But the generalization is that the students will be attending Rensselaer for 4 years. They have 8 semesters of instruction and 8 semesters of financial aid. And for our architecture students, that's 10 semesters of instruction and 10 semesters of financial aid. So the freshman year is where a lot of our students begin to think about what they want to do for their semester away experience. And students who come in accelerated have the opportunity to do what's called early arch. And so what they would do is they would spend their time on campus in the summer following their freshman year instead of in the summer following their sophomore year. And so it gives them a little bit more leverage to have a better semester away plan because they start just a little bit earlier, but you have to remember these students are actually coming into the Institute very accelerated. And so we want to make sure that we have the courses available for them when they are actually in the semester, the summer semester that they're doing their arch. So early arch is definitely an opportunity for students who are accelerated. The entire cohort in the preparation year, which is the sophomore year, which is why it's red, we want to make sure that all parents know this is the time to press go, okay? This is the time where everything is in full gear, full throttle. Everything is, as it relates to the arch, it is in go time, okay? So you never have to ask, okay, well, when should we get started? When should he start looking or when should she be preparing? The sophomore year is the time, okay? And so the fall and spring, the fall term, we start with Arch Discovery Day, but then the spring term, we pivot to the Arch and Exploration Planning course that our CCPD provides for our students. And then we go into that Arch summer term. The junior year is where you'll spend the semester away. And the students will pick a fall or spring, not fall and spring, it's fall or spring away. And we have on the Arch website under Arch Institute policies, students can see a breakdown of the fall and spring away based upon their majors. So for our civil engineering majors, they are designated for fall away. But a lot of the majors, majority of our majors, I'd say 95%, allow the students to do fall or spring term. So I encourage you all to make sure that your students are checking when they get ready to select their semester away, which is going to be coming up this spring. So after the junior year, the senior year, they are back on campus. This is the return from their Arch away semester, and this is when they're getting ready to graduate. And so they were in touch with our CCPD in their sophomore year, in touch with CCPD in their junior year, and they're definitely going to need to be in touch with the CCPD in the senior year so that they are ready to move forward with graduation and into the career field if that is their path. The two things we like to note is that on-campus housing is required for every Arch designated student. And we also just provide this information in the memorandums that come through the Arch at Rensselaer. So please make sure that your students are checking their email. As we know, most of our students are super busy, but we know that the RPI email address is our primary point of contact. So as parents, we really need your support in making sure that your students are checking their emails, following through with all their Arch guidance that they will be receiving. So the next thing is the summer schedule. This is a sample that we like to provide just so that you have a sense of what the courses are going to be for the summer term. And so this, as you can tell by the courses, TF2, which is thermals and fluids, this is an engineering student schedule. But one of the things we like to point out is the students in the summertime have a common lunch period. And during this common lunch period, students are able to connect, re-engage, get lunch. They usually use this time to just kind of hang out before they're getting ready to go into labs or before they're getting ready to go off on field trips. In the past, we have had free Wednesdays where students are able to just take that day off. As our schedule has continued to evolve, that's something each fiscal year and each academic year, our administration continues to critique and finalize to make sure that we are supporting the different courses that are needed. And so this Wednesday, the Wednesday of the summer coming, we will be able to, discern what that schedule looks like for our summer 2022 students. And so with the restrictions we've had in the past summer due to the pandemic, right, we have definitely tried our best to continue with the spirit of the summer term, which is providing those opportunities for students to have co-curricular activities and connecting outside of their classroom. So for Arch planning, these are some of the timelines that we provided to your students in August at Arch Discovery Day. And it is important that these are reinforced It is important that these are remembered. I know I've heard from a few of the parents that they have downloaded the Arch calendar, which is available on the website. So that is awesome to hear that you guys are really engaged with what your students are doing. But these are a few of the planning pieces that we want to make sure students are adhering to. So the first is semester away selection. That is when the students are going to be selecting whether they want to be away in fall 2022 or spring 2023. And so it's important that students are ready for this because their SIS will prompt them to make this selection, and they need to make this selection before they're able to continue using their SIS in the spring term. So we want to make sure they get that out of the way, and we want to make sure that they understand the semester away designation is really important to how you design your overall academic plan of study. The second thing is the Arch Exploration and Planning course done with our CCPD. That also starts in the spring. Okay, so we want to make sure students are securing their semester away opportunities before fall 2022. Okay, so for the students that are sophomores right now, this is 1 year to date of when fall away students will be in their away term experience. So as parents, we want you to create that urgency, continue lighting that fire to make sure that they are staying on top of connecting with the appropriate offices to prepare for their semester away. Registration of these experiences go in the Arch Away Plan tab, and this is also in their SIS. And so everything that is designed around registration is in the student's SIS profile. Completing the FAFSA, you're going to hear more about that from our Director of Financial Aid with us, and our handshake profile, you'll hear more about that from our Director of the CCPD. And so what I want to do now, after this brief introduction that I hope was full of nuggets, I hope that it was helpful for you. I will come back at the end and help us with a little bit of the wrap up. But now I'd like to turn it over to Marty Daniels, our Director of Financial Aid. Marty?
Well, good day, everyone, and welcome to today's presentation. We have just a couple of slides to highlight for the Financial Aid Office, but before we flip over to those, or as we flip over to those, I just want to remind you that we do have an excellent information page on our website about the ARC program. You would just simply go to the admissions link, follow that to Financial Aid, and then in our menu that shows on every page, there is a link to the ARCH session. And so one of the things that Jade mentioned is that our award policy is for 8 semesters of RPI gift aid or 10 semesters if the student is in architecture. And so the general concept when it comes to the Arch year is that we align the financial aid to match when the student is expected to be on campus and taking their courses. And so the financial aid will align to when the student is being charged for tuition and fees. And that includes the summer when they're also charged for the room and board. And so keep in mind that the Arch summer does count as one of the terms of enrollment towards aid, and that if the student has a second semester of course during the Arch year, that is their other semester. So summer fall, 2 semesters, summer spring, 2 semesters. That's the general idea. And when it comes to the amount of aid, it just lines up as you would expect as well, where the student would expect to receive the same per term value of their aid during the Arch semesters as they had in the prior year. And of course, that is contingent on renewing the FAFSA, and the FAFSA is used to determine the aid specific eligibility for each of the individual years. Just that last item on there is just keep in mind that you're only going to be charged tuition when you're enrolled in courses, and then also your aid is received for those courses as well. On the next slide is the reminder that the FAFSA is required for renewal of need-based grants from federal, state, and RPI sources. For New York residents in particular, also be reminded you need to fill out the New York Higher Education or the HESC application for your TAP grant funds as well. Otherwise, we'll renew your eligibility for federal work study if you're otherwise eligible, and same thing with the federal direct loan program. So it's very important that you file the FAFSA in a timely manner for the Arch year of enrollment. And to help us out with that, certainly the most basic date is that the FAFSA is available now. It was open on October 1st for the 22-23 year. And so you can go to the FAFSA website and complete the FAFSA at any time. For art students in particular, we do ask that they complete the FAFSA by December 31st, 2021 for the 22-23 year. And simply based on our overall processing calendar, we're looking to process the Arch Awards during the month of March. So if you file by December 31st, we will have your records in time and we'll have our other business spaces cleared so we can award you in March. So your financial aid shows in the bill as expected for the summertime. And just a quick note for the Bursar office is they also have their billing rules available on the website. And of particular interest is that for the monthly payment plan, they do typically offer a 3-month payment plan for the summer term, and then it would be 4 months of the payment plan for the fall or the spring. And certainly we're available to be contacted by email and otherwise, so let us know what questions you may have. There are a couple of financial aid rules that I did want to highlight here. So Jade, for the next slide, I think we talk about those. And one of the important things is to keep in mind that we do not process aid and we cannot process loans for the away term housing expenses. Again, based on federal rules, we apply the aid to when the student is enrolled in courses and they're being billed for those things by the college. And so keep in mind that there will be a certain cost or a certain factor around ensuring your student, if they're on a away experience that has living expenses, that you help them manage those as well. And another factor towards that is that during the Arch away experience, the student is registered in more or less what we would call a placeholder course that indicates that they're considered to be an active student at Rensselaer. But in order to receive aid, the student would have to be at least half-time in academic courses. So the third bullet kind of brings it all together, where the Arch away semester approved activity is important because it qualifies as being in school at least half-time. So the loans stay on deferment, but it's not counted as an academic course as would be needed to get a new loan. Okay, so that is really important to register for your away experience. The concept, I believe that's on the next slide, talks about some of the consequences in terms of if you don't register, then participating in the Arch activity keeps you enrolled, like I mentioned. So the connection is that if you're not enrolled for 6 months or longer, then the student might be flagged to go into repayment on their student loans. So registering for the Arch away activity keeps the student kind of touching the bags as they go around the bases to make sure that they're enrolled for loan deferment purposes. If they don't register and they go into repayment, they only get that grace period one time. So the next time that they would depart school, they would go into immediate repayment. They wouldn't get that 6 months again. Again, just make sure you're registering for those away experiences, whether it's independent study, co-op, whatever it might be, because we want to make sure that you're remaining enrolled for enrollment reporting on your student loans as well. And I know this slide has some more details there. I know you folks can read that, but if you have any additional questions, please do let us know. And this is kind of my last slide, and a couple things it shows, of course, is our basic contact information. At this time, we are working primarily out of our office, kind of staggered shifting with the return to campus, but certainly email has proven to be a great way to get a hold of us at all times. And then also, so you have it, there's an updated list of our account management alphabet splits for our assistant directors. And so as you have questions that come up, feel free to shoot us a note and we'll get back to you as soon as we can with that. And so without further ado, I'll go ahead and turn it over to Philip Bruce, Director of our CCPD. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Marty. I am very, very adamant about reiterating to the parents that financial aid preparation is extremely important. So before we turn it over, I just want to stress to the parents that your financial aid information needs to be filed before December 31st, okay? And we are right now in October and time is flying, okay? It is flying. I cannot believe we're already in October. Our students are going to hit November. We're going to have a fall break. We'll be back in December for a few weeks and then out for winter break. So it's extremely important that you get that financial aid information completed, okay? That is the best way to ensure when we get to March, everything is done and you have your package ready to rock and roll, and it minimizes the confusion for the students. So if there's any questions that I can answer for you, Director Daniels can answer, his team. Please make sure you utilize these. Please take a screenshot of this. If you know your student, of course, you know your student's last name, you know who their counselor would be to connect with. So please make sure that they are completing their financial aid information for the upcoming school year to prepare for their ARCH designated summer. And with that, I will turn it over to Director Bruce and Dr. Powell. I know Dr. Powell kicks us off, and so I will turn it over to her. Dr. Powell?
Hello, greetings. Oh, apologies. I think I pressed the wrong button there. Okay, I am back. My name is Tiffany Powell, and I'm the director of the ARCH academic programs. And I am excited to be able to work with your student as they begin to plan for the semester away. One of the things I wanted to first begin with explaining to you is that each of the semester away opportunities begins with the prefix ILE, and ILE stands for Individual Learning Experience. And why this is important is because each student, as they are considering what's important to them, they are designing their own learning experience. It can be something, it can go from an internship to a design study on their own. And there's a list there that I'm going to go through very briefly. But I just wanted to point out that when you see that prefix, ILE, it is attached to each one of the experiences. So the first one that we have that students are often very excited about and wanting to take full advantage of is the ILE internship. And this is an opportunity for students to participate in work opportunities. They can work for various organizations, companies, things that are aligned to their major and their interest levels. And the CCPD is extremely important in helping students to identify those opportunities. And so Director Bruce is going to be talking with you in just a moment about those opportunities, but I just wanted you to know that the ILE internship is definitely the pathway that many students want to take. That is a semester-long experience for students where they are gaining work experience. They're having an opportunity to engage with other colleagues and meet people in the field and just gain some experience that can help them to land that first job. And that's ultimately what students are looking for. And I think as parents, we're looking for our students to get a job once they're finished with their college experience. The next is the ILE co-op, and that one is a little bit more of an extended work experience, and it can span from a semester in the summer. And once again, Director Bruce will give you more information about that, but it is an expanded opportunity for work and learning, expansion of ideas. And so this is definitely a place where students have an opportunity to satisfy their semester away requirement. The next is the ILE Civic Engagement. This is often a volunteer type of experience, some type of philanthropic endeavor of some nature, maybe something that's really close to the student's heart that they want to pursue that can later formulate into a job experience is definitely an option for them. And so there are specific pathways by which these students can gain an internship, co-op, civic engagement opportunities by connecting with the CCPD, our Career Center. And so students have an opportunity to connect themselves to Handshake, and they can look for those different experiences that may be most applicable for them and most of interest to them. So that's the first three I wanted to explain. The next one is the ILE self-designed. And under the self-designed, we have different pathways for which a student can satisfy that particular opportunity. The first one is a leadership. And Jay spoke a moment ago about leadership development. And this is something if a student wants to specifically focus on how to build their own leadership skill set, this is a pathway that they can take advantage of. The leadership opportunity is sponsored through the WILD organization, which is housed in, they're actually centralized in Seattle, Washington, but we have a great relationship with them, and students have taken advantage of this opportunity in the past, and they've learned more about themselves, learned about how they can be effective as a leader, and it's different from some of the maybe inventories and things that they've taken in the past. They've really become very enlightened as a result of this experience. The next is the career-centric ILE self-design program, and what that does is it allows students to think about their employability, the ways that they can work on their soft skills, the way that they can work on interview strategies, the things that they can do to strengthen their resume, so that when they are taking those first steps to apply for a job, they have the skill sets that are necessary to get them noticed. And so that's something that a student can focus the entire semester on, is building that skill set to make sure that they are prepared to be able to apply for that internship, because they can have internships in their senior year or that first job even beyond graduation. We have feature ILEs, and this current one that we're looking for students to take advantage of is a sports management. And that one is great because you don't have to be an athlete. You can be someone who just may be interested in the sports management pathway, and you can work directly with one of our coaches, our football coaches, and just learn about what it means to manage a sports team and the sports, all the things that go behind it, with putting out appropriate correspondence and working on different plays and things of that nature. So if there's a student who's interested in just learning about this will be a great way to kind of get their feet wet, if you would, okay? And so we have that opportunity available for our students to take advantage of under the ILE self-designed umbrella. The next is ILE research, and this is where students have the privilege of working directly with RPI faculty. They're doing this remotely right now. They're not on campus. They're not working directly in labs, but there have been some specific programs and research opportunities that have been assigned, or allotted rather, for students to be able to take full advantage of. This is where they're working directly with their teachers, their faculty, other faculty that they may know. And this is a great opportunity to get their minds prepped for deeper research and deeper knowledge growth in an area that's of interest to them. And so in order for students to take advantage of the ILE research pathway, they would need to directly connect with the professor. They can ask their professor what opportunities are available. Maybe they have had some type of research experience during their sophomore year, like right now. They're working on maybe on a URP, which is an undergraduate research program, and they want to extend that opportunity during their away semester. That is an option. The next is the ILE study at another U.S. institution. Is actually just study at any other institution, not even just exclusive to the U.S. And this is where students take classes elsewhere. Sometimes there's other programs that they want to take advantage of. Maybe there's some extended courses that are afforded them. Perhaps they want to bolster their program of study in some meaningful way. And if that's the case, students can take classes at a different institution, and that can count as a semester away opportunity. The last is the ILE international experiences, and this is where our students usually study abroad. They go to other countries, they take classes, they work with those faculty members in those other universities. Currently, that program is on pause because of just the nature of what's going on in our world right now. But possibly by the time your student is ready to go ahead and take advantage of their semester away, that may be something that is reintroduced for them as an option. So for students who are wanting to take advantage of internships, co-ops, a civic engagement opportunity, they will contact the CCP directly. Get in contact. Their career counselors available for each major. There's so many different support points and opportunities to just really know what is available to them. We encourage students to strongly take advantage of every opportunity. There are people assigned to help your students to be successful in making the best choices for them. Research opportunities, study at another institution, or a self-designed pathway, that those particular opportunities are connected to my office in the Office of Undergraduate Education. I work directly with those students. I assist them by way of hosting support sessions. There are going to be a few provided in this fall semester and in the spring for students to learn about these different opportunities, and also to ask questions if they're thinking about a particular plan and wanting to know if that plan would be accepted. Those support sessions are perfect opportunities for students to take advantage of so that they can ask all those pertinent questions. The last one is study abroad and the international experience, as I mentioned. That particular opportunity is connected to the Office of International Programs. I want to just wrap this portion up by saying that all of these opportunities, all of the information related to this opportunity is all on the Arch website. I encourage you and your students to take full advantage of perusing that site. All of the appropriate links, all the contact information, all of the details for how each opportunity is satisfied is all listed there. So please take full advantage of taking a look at the website and making sure that you are familiarizing yourself and helping your student to take advantage of the information that's provided for them there. just by way of just a little bit more digging around the ILE opportunity for leadership, as mentioned, it is sponsored by Whole Leaders, Whole, pardon me, Wild is whole and intentional leadership development, which is probably why I started with whole, right? So, but this is an organization that is very, very committed to growing leaders and helping our students to think about their own leadership capacities. Some of the topics that are covered are around leadership identity, personality and career, creating purposeful goals, thinking about how to show up under pressure. I don't know about you, but I'm pretty sure we could all use a little bit of support in that area because life can be pressurous and so can certain work environments. But knowing how to show up and how to continue to be poised and professional is absolutely critical in the workplace. So these were some of the skills that students can acquire and just explore during this ILE opportunity around leadership development. At the end of the experience, students receive a certificate that they can just have as part of their portfolio and even list on their resume to say, this is something that I've done to really prepare myself for the workforce and to prepare myself for just the life of beyond being a college student. And so I think this is something that students can take full advantage of. Just another plug there about the ILE Sports Management, which is once again open to all students. This is an opportunity for students to play the role of an assistant coach. I mean, that sounds pretty interesting to some. And I just encourage students to take advantage of these opportunities that's there. They are actively participating in recruiting, doing graphic designing, coaching techniques, things of that nature. And they are directly supervised by one of our assistant coaches who has designed a syllabus to fully support the learning experience for the students. So we just want to thank our coaches and they are committed to helping our students be very successful. So if your student is not an athlete, and even if they are, they have this opportunity to take full advantage of something that may be even really of more interest to them. So we want them to know this is available. The Office of International Programs, once again, this is around our study abroad experiences. There's a variety of eligibility criteria, some of which are listed here on this slide. There is credit available for the coursework, and definitely there's some financial aid that is also available to support students because it is considered a full semester of coursework, and that semester is also satisfying the away semester requirement. Because of some of our COVID restrictions, things have been suspended as mentioned, but please stay in touch with the Office of International Programs if you are interested in learning about those study abroad opportunities because they may possibly open up for the fall of 23. The other thing just to keep in mind is that there are deadlines. So you want to make sure that you are connecting once again with that office to know what those deadlines are so that you don't miss them. Because once the deadline passes, it's going to be pretty hard to be able to take advantage of that. So finally, here is my contact information. My email is there. It's the best way of getting in contact with me. Karen Dvorak is the manager for the international programs. And if you are interested in connecting with her, her information is there as well. And just by way of just reiteration, all of this information is on the Arch website under a semester away. And you'll be able to see all of this information as well as our contact information.
Thank you so much, Dr. Powell, for that overview. And I definitely want to reiterate for the students who are interested in doing a self-design experience, the best way to get started is to start now. So if you're interested in any of those opportunities, self-design, research, studying at another U.S. or any institution, as Dr. Powell has noted, you definitely want to make sure that you tap into her. So here is her office contact information, and be sure to stay connected with her. And so now I want to turn it over to Director Philip Bruce, who is going to walk us through all of the excitement, all of the jazz around co-ops, internships, and civic engagement.
Thank you, Jade. And while I think it's jazzy and exciting, there's a distinct possibility that your student may be nervous about trying to find an internship or co-op or civic engagement experience, which is, as Dr. Powell referenced, what my office is responsible for helping them do. So the slide that you're looking at here is how our office is set up to do just that. We understand that students don't have a great deal of work searching experience or career readiness plans when they come to RPI. The difference in RPI and other schools is we ask students to learn this at the sophomore level, which I'll talk a little bit about the Arch Prep course in just a minute. But our team is set up to really walk with your student on this journey of personal career development. And when you think about what that looks like on the career development team, these are folks that are completely student focused. So each of your students or each college has its own career counselor who is dedicated to your student and that college. They will work with them to understand what their unique goals are, what their individual priorities are for their career, and how we can help connect them to those opportunities. This team also works with the faculty to promote opportunities and explain to the students, there's not a drawer that we open that, we can just hand you an internship or co-op, because you might not like that experience. We need to know from you what that looks like. What do you want to do? Where do you want to do it? And if you don't know those things, how can we support you in guiding that conversation? That's what the career development team does. At the other end of that spectrum is the employer relations team. These are folks that go and source those opportunities. So when your student says to the career counselor, I really want to work at Johnson & Johnson, our employer relations team makes sure that there is an opportunity from Johnson & Johnson for your student to apply for and to be hopefully successful in securing that internship or co-op. The employer relations team also sources opportunities that we generally think students would want to take advantage of. But again, if there's a specific company or size company in a certain geographic location, letting the employer relations team know about that is what their job is, to go and find that opportunity and get it into the Handshake platform. The Handshake platform is very useful because it's our one-stop job center for students. So as long as they've got their profile completed and they have uploaded their resume, recruiters will actually reach directly out to them based on the criteria that they set. The employer relations team manages the Handshake platform as well. So then we have the experiential learning team, and they're kind of in the middle. They straddle both sides. So experiential learning team works very closely with students to get their internship, co-op, or civic engagement experience registered with the school. And that's important because as Marty mentioned, Director Daniels, it's really important that your student complete that paperwork, not only for the FAFSA, but also for turning in their offer letter and the required documents for us to register them. Not because we're super nosy. We don't necessarily care, how much your student is making on the job versus another student, unless there's a reason they're making less. In that case, we would want to know that information so we can help your student get more money. But really, it's to make sure that they're registered and that they are part of the university, tethered to the university, and an active student. And that's important because if you go on a co-op experience, that's 9 months, your student loans will become due before you come back to campus. And that creates a really big problem for you, your student, and for our financial aid department. So let's not do that. Let's make sure you get your experience registered with our experiential learning team. Those folks also walk you through work reports and personal development during your semester away. So if you're working for a company, how do you make the most of that? If you're having a problem at the company or somebody is, not treating you well, that experiential learning team will help facilitate correction of those problems. They will help you understand what's happening and how we can step in and assist you. And finally, if you happen to find yourself in another country during a global pandemic, it's great to have a connection back to the institution so we can help you get back home and safe as much as possible. So the experiential learning team plays a very valuable role in the middle of your students' matriculation experience. That's how our office is set up. And those are the resources we have to support you. Now, on the next slide, you'll see this spring 2022 prep course. All of the students in this cohort will be registered by their college into the Arch prep course. We cover everything that you could imagine you would want your student to know about how to be successful in securing their away opportunity. While we do have about 85% of our students say they want to do an internship or co-op or research experience, what we found is that when they really explore the self-design ILE, sometimes that's a better option for them because they want to do a startup, they want to work on a project. So all of those things are important for us to deliver to them information-wise in this course, but we also go through all of the normal things you would expect: resume critiques, interview practice, how you go about leveraging your network, how you go about building that network. What does your social media accounts look like? Are they helping you get a job or are they hurting you get a job? Those are the kind of things we try to cover. So think of it as a professional development course along with some technical skill training to make sure that your student is as prepared as possible to take advantage of those opportunities that we discussed the employer relations team creates. So those are the kind of things that we're going to be teaching them this spring. It is a required course. They can't drop it. They may complain about that. But again, we're doing this to make sure that they are as prepared as possible at the sophomore year for what comes up in their away semester. On the next slide, just some advice that we would have for anybody that's going into Arch, whether that be parents or students. This is your personal journey. And if you take it seriously, you're going to get a wonderful experience out of it. You're going to learn skills that most people in college don't learn until 2 weeks before their senior year is over. These are the kind of things that will really set you up for a very successful career and a faster career trajectory in terms of managing and getting promoted and those kind of things. Also encourage all of the students to attend employer recruitment events this year. So, we have a couple coming up. We have the spring career fair taking place the second Wednesday in February of this upcoming year. They should attend those. Even if they're not looking for a job or an opportunity at that time, it's still much easier for them to go to those events, make those connections with employers and say, hey, in 6 months when I come back, what do you want to see on my resume? How can I get the opportunity that you're advertising for right now next year? These are all really important things that if students go and attend and participate, they're going to have a lot larger network to draw from when that time comes to get the opportunity they want. Now, where do they go? A lot of our students choose big companies like the ones you see on the screen there. NASA, BMW, Northrop Grumman, you're probably all familiar with those. Some of our civic engagement students choose to go into the Humane Society opportunities, United Way. There's a variety of different civic engagement nonprofit experiences. And as soon as we're able to travel abroad more freely, once the pandemic restrictions have been removed or at least navigable, you can go to places like Bermuda, Institute of Ocean Sciences. You can go to Europe, Africa, China, Australia. There are a number of international opportunities that we're excited to be promoting as soon as we're able to do that. In the meantime, though, just know that if there's a small company locally that you want to go work for, or if you want to work for a Fortune 500 company, they all recruited RPI. They all want our students. And we are here to help facilitate that interaction to make sure you're successful in getting the job and career start that you want. So please know that our office is here to help you. There is the information on how you can contact us. We are in person as well as virtual. So whatever your preference and safety level is, we're here to help you.
Thank you so much, Director Bruce, for giving us that overview on career services. I definitely know that the parents are involved with their students. And so hearing this straight from you is very, very valuable. And so parents, please make sure that your students are getting those handshake profiles done, okay? And I have reiterated things from each one of our directors here because it is very, very paramount to being successful in securing your away experience by starting now. So if you can help us to help your student, support us in supporting your student, making sure they get their handshake profiles done, make sure that they have a plan. If they want to do their semester away experience closer to home. What are some of those geographical places, right, that they can connect with their CCPD counselor about? So please make sure you are encouraging your student to fill out their handshake profiles, get involved, and prepare for their semester away. And so finally, I want to wrap us up with just a reiteration of the Arch Fall planning. Now that you have had a chance to hear from the directors about the important aspects of their Arch planning. So just a reminder that semester away selection for students is in the spring. The Arch Exploration and Planning course is in the spring. This is the time right now to begin the process in securing your semester away. Registering the experience is going to take place in SIS. Also, semester away selection is in SIS. Please make sure that your FAFSA renewal is done before December 31st. I would just say, just do it before December 1st. Do it before December 1st. Let that be your deadline, and you will be good to go from there, okay? Make sure your handshake profile is complete. It should be complete. So that's maybe a little bit of homework that we can have our parents do. Check in with your student because they should have had their handshake profile completed right before Arch Discovery Day started, and that was August 23rd or 24th, if I'm not mistaken. So all of the students should have a handshake profile. So by the end of this fall term, a handshake profile should be completed and the FAFSA renewal should be done. So those are two major pieces I wanted to leave you with. And so with that, I want to thank you all for joining us. I hope you enjoy Family Weekend. Please enjoy this virtual experience. We know it is not the real deal in person. We love to have you guys on campus for the fall festival and for all the activities, but we know with the pandemic parameters, we are just unable to manage that capacity at this time. But I want to thank all of the directors for joining me for this presentation session. You have all of our contact information. And one final thing, if there are any questions that we were not able to answer for you on this Arch presentation, we want to make sure that you are able to get those questions answered. So if you go on the Arch website and you scroll down to Arch feedback, please write us and let us know if there are any additional questions that we can answer for you. We will get those fielded out to our different colleagues. If it's not the four of us, we will do our best to make sure that those questions receive answers. And so with that, I want to say thank you guys again. Have an incredible virtual family weekend, and we will be talking with you soon. Thank you guys so much. Bye-bye and take care.